Welcome to ARW. I'm Harold, and today we're going to work on a little benchtop drill press that I made an impulse purchase there, and it was made by a student in the Texas A&M Mechanical Engineering course, and it's got the tag on it attesting to that and all that, but it's got an imperfection that I'm going to fix today. But before we get into that, I'm sure that a lot of you guys have got these double flush toilets. You may have even fixed them a bunch or something, and this is old news to you. But I bought my first one probably about 12 years ago, and the tank got broke, so I didn't have to repair any of the internals. But now, I finally came to one that ran into a problem. It was starting to leak through into the, from the tank leaking down, and so I had to go and buy that big round piece that goes in the middle. And very first thing I learned when I pulled that sucker out of there was it's got a huge nut, about 4-inch nut on the bottom of it. The only way I could get it off was with a strap wrench, and of course I had to use a strap wrench to put it back on. But I didn't really know necessarily how they even work, but apparently it's got 2 float dinghies in it that are set at different heights. And the old type toilet had a flapper that just fell over and closed the hole, and you'd fill the tank and that'd hold the water in the tank. Well, this one's got a little T-shaped piece that's round, got a little rubber gasket around the outside that falls down to stop all that. Now, a lot of the videos I watched said that it gets the calcium buildup, and you go in there and clean it up with vinegar and clean up the seat and use it, from there on. But the boss lady wanted it fixed now, so I just went down and I bought a replacement part. And they got the 2 little pins that are in the tank top, 2 little pins that stick down to make it flush. And so after I got the thing in, and it took me a little bit of doing to put it in, I put everything in wrong 4 times. First time I put the little round thing facing the wrong direction, mounted it on the toilet, and then I looked at it and said, son of a gun, it's the wrong direction. So I pulled it back off and turned it around, mounted the tank on the wrong direction, pulled it off and turned it around. I don't know, just you name it, I did it wrong there. But then when I got ready to put the lid on it, I set the lid down and it started flushing. And that's because this one was taller than the other one. And I thought, well, what am I going to do about that? I haven't ever repaired one of these before, And what you got now, in the new one, they included a new push button. Let me see if I get the plastic off. They included a new push button thingy with these things hanging. But look how long that is. Boy, I don't know who's got a toilet tank that tall. But anyway, I saw that this was threaded plastic rods, so I looked at the one I already had, and it was threaded plastic rods, so I had to cut them off about 3/4 of an inch shorter to make it fit. But obviously with this thing here, you could make it fit anything, because there's an awful lot of threaded rod there, Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that in case you haven't got around to having to fix yours yet. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the drill press. Now, the first thing I know you're going to ask, well, what could be wrong with that nice looking drill press? I'll show you. Find the on-off switch. Put it in the on position. And I run this down to drill my hole. So far, so good, right? And then I'll let it back up, and you see that pulley wants to go back up. Somehow I can't help seeing that as a problem. So I was here with one of my viewers, Jorian Khan, and he looked at this and he said, what you need is to put a spring over the top. And I got a spring too small a diameter So I got one at the hardware store. My idea is to put a spring on here and put a cap. After all, this thing right here, it turns right along with everything else. So there's no, no friction on the spring or anything. It's a darn shame that I got one too small. I mean, I'll have to go back before I can finish the video, but what we're going to do is we're going to make a little collar to screw on here, clamp it on, and it'll keep the spring against this so that the thing can't keep coming back up. Okay? Let's get started. Well, other than the spring search, this will be pretty easy. I found this scrap piece over there on my lathe. All it needs is a little bit of a bigger hole. It's the 5/8. I mean 9/16, something like that. And I've got to make this a little bit bigger to fit. Alright? Alright, I took that little piece and put it in the mill and I squared it up so that both sides are square with a hole. Because it wasn't perfect when I first set it on there. Now we'll roll it over and drill a keyway, a hole in it for set screw. I'll get it set. I'll put a couple of set screws in this guy, number 1024. That'll probably hold it. If it doesn't hold it real good, I'll drill a little notch into that shaft for the set screw to go down into, and then it'll hold. Okay, so there's one hole, and I'll just roll it over and do the same thing. No need showing that. Well, that's how that guy's going to look on there once I get the spring. It's a shame I didn't measure it before I went and got the spring and then measure the inside of the spring. Not good thinking, but hey, I got to go back down to Home Depot and take back a shovel. I'm supposed to be out digging a ditch today, but it's 95 degrees out there and I'm not inclined. Alright, so there we are. We've put a spring on there. Let's zoom in on it. And a little collar to hold it. Now the little pulley will not lift up. At least that's the idea, so why don't we just give it a try. I think this thing would be better off with a round belt instead of a notched belt like it's got, but whatever belt you put on there, it's going to run it. And so now we come to the part that I got to talk about this. I purchased this sort of an impulse buy. Sorry about kicking the tripod, but it's mandatory here. But I don't have room for this. I didn't have room for two bandsaws, which I bought on an impulse buy also. So this guy is going to be for sale. I guess about $100 ought to do the job, and we'll see what we see from there. Alright, so guys, y'all take it easy, keep on keeping on, click the like button or the dislike button, one of them, anything to let YouTube know you're watching, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. It helps the algorithm, as they say.